morning.
How are we doing this beautiful morning?
Great.
Wonderful. As I initiate the conversation, I would like to remind these words are not just for you, but they are for me as well, because learning always continues. As I was preparing for today, it started almost a week ago, but I was pretty lost in deciphering where the pulse is, and through that journey of discovery, I ran into a book that was recently published through Hay House publication from Louise Hayes. It's called Gratitude, A Way of Life. And in that book, there are short stories from various authors from Hay House Publishing and other people of repute. And they are sharing their stories of where life has brought them forward. And as I reflected on this book, I did not really start reading until Tuesday, this past Tuesday. And I have no idea why that's such a timing, but as I'm discovering through the stories in this book, my heart is expanding through the aspect of gratitude. So we may discuss gratitude. We will also discuss natural law of receptivity in today's conversation. As I'm reflecting more and more, this almost first 4 days of December are complete. We are leaning more into the big, heavy holiday time spirit here shortly. And as holidays come, statistically, clinically, it has been studied. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of stress, and there is a lot of unforeseen events go on in different variations of ways. And my heart just sort of revolved around that feeling. What can I feel from what I'm receiving right now? And reading through this book was just appropriate because those stories, those little stories, have made me reflect on aspects of me that I really was not consciously aware of. The gratitude principle, how gratitude has shifted my life, and I'm sure some of us or most of us in here have seen the power of gratitude in one way, shape, or form. So I recommend that book to preface this conversation. But as I'm opening this energy of conversation, the natural laws are always divinely operative in our life. There is possibly a natural law of gratitude floating somewhere because it is a big expansion. No matter where we are, from a very childhood, my childhood, and all of your childhood, as you would reflect, growing up as a child, we are always encouraged and nudged to give and give. You're always needs to practice kindness and compassion and care, and you give your brother, you give the neighbor, you give your church, your congregation, your society, when you're at work, your colleagues, you have to give and be a team player. There's a lot of demand on giving. So when we come to the Thanksgiving part, we celebrate an excessive global format of that, but on a day-to-day life, we are always programmed to give, 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 and give. And within that giving, I feel sometimes I tune out the gratitude I receive from others because life is such in a fast-paced mode most of the time. And as I'm reflecting on this aspect of expansion within myself, reading through those stories is allowing me to understand, oh, I missed receiving that in complete surrender. Somebody expressed their gratitude for a small fraction of help I was to them. I listened to it, but did I receive it in its entirety? Putting ourselves in a point and place of knowing who we are, how we operate is a great thing. But what is there more than that? How do we put ourselves from one state of awareness to the next state of awareness? So for me, it was just a great, wonderful sense of awareness. I mentally started to accept the gratitude that I received in this whole last year. Good, bad, indifferent experiences, whatever it was for me, I just, as far as I could recognize within my memory and the feeling and sitting in that emotion, I just accepted their gratitude, accepted what is going on through that memory of experience. And I feel in this room, many of us can recognize that. Somebody said thank you, and we just brushed it off by welcoming it. Did we receive it in its entirety? Did we give them the honor of additional fraction of a moment by giving them the energy of receptivity, that it's received well? How many times you have expressed thank you and you have felt like, ooh, it didn't go across well, right? Ooh, they didn't give me enough time to just acknowledge that. It was short and sweet. Life moved on. And as I'm sitting there, this gratitude is expanding within me, and it's making me emotional, and it's making me overwhelmed with feelings, because it has allowed me to pause and reflect on what it creates within me, how somebody else is responding to it. So as I'm evolving within this emotion, yesterday I sat in my chair and almost went to a small pause of silence because I needed more. That was not enough in there. One of our spiritualists, old-time spiritualists, mandatory reading book is called Becoming a Spiritualist. If anybody is wanting to understand spiritualism or why it has come into being in a major way, this book is a good read, Becoming a Spiritualist. And in this book, there is something that I will read because it's hard for me to paraphrase. And this will tie in the law of receptivity. So I will do my very best to read it. It's just a little long read. Let it be stated again that the first requisite for acquiring this great gift of receptivity, which is so necessary if the seeker after truth wishes to attain health, happiness, success, is correct and constructive thinking. There are many ways of receiving impressions and communications, the most common of which are through the 5 physical senses. But outside of these senses, there is lying dormant within every human being the power of receiving from the great reservoir of infinite intelligence, from which can be supplied all human needs. Here, all true knowledge is waiting to be drawn upon by every child of this great universe. This, the spiritual sense, must be developed more fully in order that man can receive what is for his good, not only in this life, but in the future life. To those who accept its philosophy, spiritualism, through its teaching, point the way to this development. The student desiring this development should enter the silence for a few minutes each day, relaxing the body and the mind, forgetting the toil of the day, and repeating the following. This is the important part. I know that more things are brought forward by prayer in this world dreams of. Therefore my voice will rise like a fountain in prayer for myself, from those whom I call friends, and for all mankind. O infinite intelligence, ruler of the universe, make me more receptive to thy blessings and to thee. May I be more conscious of great knowledge around and about me, and may I, as I grow more able to know thee. This was a beautiful tie-in to my feeling of the gratitude. We all are here striving for something more, bigger and better in our lives. Every so often I see folks walking through our spiritualist churches just to tie in with their loved ones, to receive a message and a greeting and a guidance, and that's all they're looking for. But a lot of us are sitting here because we are wanting to be not only this where we are, but something more. And that something more is very crucial. So as I was reflecting my childhood, my mother always told me, if somebody asks you something and you're able to, you always give, never say no. So we have very generously in our household shared anything we can. But at the same time, I was recognizing to understand true receptivity, I was never told how to receive. If somebody is giving me something in return, what do I do? Should I accept it? Should I politely decline it? What do I do? There was no training, no hands me down feeling as though, how do I respond with it? If God is ready to bestow a gift upon me, it's awesome to receive it. It's awesome to be open and say, give me what I deserve. Give me more so that I can pass it on forward even better. Why just ask for this much where you can have so much more? Why do we practice to put boundaries and limitations on our existence? Through the practice of receptivity and gratitude, the expansion within our soul can take many different shapes and forms. Progress in our personalities, changes in our physical condition, in our metaphysical situations, letting go of ties that we are carrying on from a different parallel existence that we may be having in this time period. There's so much more that can be shifted. By gratitude, you can open the door of abundance, prosperity, progress, health, and much more. You become the true magnet for the laws of attraction from that point forward. I am ready to receive. I deserve. I am capable. Very often you can demand things also once you are in true receptive mode. When you have placed yourself in alignment with all the other natural laws, in time you can demand things for yourself. And they practically just fall in your lap. I can only tell my story because that's mine. As a listener of this conversation, you have your own unique story. And aspects of this conversation are touching upon those memories that are triggered to understand, I said this out loud in prayer and I did receive it. And every time there is a conditionality behind our prayers, for myself, I can say, it sort of doesn't work out. Practicing unconditionality is a whole different aspect of conversation. But it always coexists because it's the contrast to life. It's the second side of the coin of conditionality. To understand how we can be unconditional in our exchange of energies. So when I came across this thought, once again I ran towards my childhood because that is my formative time period. So parents are good bargainers, they think. But I could recall, I would bargain with my mom, if I do my homework, can I go out and play sooner than my allotted time? If I finish this, can I play a weekend game of cricket somewhere else? So I was trained to bargain, and when I got mature enough to bargain for myself, I bargained certain things. And we do this all the time. To have what you need, you must be a good negotiator. You must be a good negotiator. And to having that ability to negotiate, you have to look forward how you were trained. If your training was not so great, you probably are not a good negotiator. If you are always giving and not welcoming the receiving part, you may throw off your alignment with your negotiating skills because you have to understand it's a tandem process. But why are we talking about this? This is the beautiful time of the year. This is a great time in our lives of expansion. But our sense of gratitude not only limits us, because there is no such thing as limit on ourselves. Our sense of gratitude will expand through this time period with kindness, with grace, and with gratitude. You will definitely touch many more lives just in this short amount of few weeks. How many of us have participated in Secret Santa? Most of us have no idea what goes on, but there is a sense of enjoyment, there is a sense of excitement, there is a sense of unknowing anxiety of what am I going to get? I put things in my hand, who's giving me? And that's a sense of joy. And through this time period, we will go through that same amount of joy. Oh, that thing looks good for so-and-so, and we'll be doing all this crossword puzzle of mix and match and who gets what. There's a sense of excitement behind gratitude because you are feeling great of giving. Perpetuate that excitement with, oh, that person's going to be so happy when they receive it. You only wish for it, and sometimes you will find you have like, oh, I'm not sure if this is a good choice or not. But then it's again an individual thing. You have to understand your own sense of growth and movement on this path of progression is just unique to you. So let me reflect on the negative experiences. Has anybody said in a roundabout way, what happened to me was not right, but I'm so grateful it happened? I can't wait, and this is projection and experience and wonderment. Every time we have this dialogue within our work scenario of cutbacks and adjustments and everything, I have this beautiful expression sort of etched in my mind that I'm going to give this director a hug and tell him, thank you for releasing me from all this. There is. I can be so much more now. I have a great sense of thing. He has no idea if ever that happens that he is something coming for that. But it's amusing to me because it excites me just knowing I have that power of feeling so much freedom. And this power is not really a power in a bureaucratic way, but it's a power of a unique value of freedom. But I know I will express my gratitude. I will express my thank you for letting me work so many years at the same place. But I know all this is a beautiful part of grace, and I feel that expression of knowingness has allowed me to be more free, never be afraid to express myself, never be afraid to pull myself back from what's right or wrong. I have this autonomy within myself that never lets me use fear as my dialogue. A few years back, life changes were happening, and I told myself, I will not operate with fear anymore. Fear is not a part of my vocabulary. It is a residual part of my vocabulary because it's an experience, it's an emotion for many. But my gratitude for myself, my gratitude for my life experiences, my gratitude with positive, negative, any aspect of my life has pushed me forward in the motion of understanding. Gratitude works. Sitting in silence, listening to the divine language, being in the receptive mode of guidance, what's next, what's best, what's coming, what's not coming, what's mine, what's not mine. It all comes when you tell yourself, something bigger than myself is always watching out for me. And everything is in divine order. I'm a big fan of Abraham Hicks' works, Law of Attraction Principles, and I have this beautiful saying that comes across my mind, everything's always working out for me. That's like a mission statement for that philosophy, and I always understand, no matter what's going on in my life, it's not life-threatening, and it's all going to work out. It's all going to work out. Life is a blessing, friends, and as you go into the season of wonderment, carry the gratitude. Be open to receiving gratitude. Be open to expressing it freely. There is no such thing as fear. It's just us. We get in our own way. We are the biggest roadblock you can ever create. But it's so easy to understand. Let it be. Everything will work out at the end. Please take the cheer in your hearts. Be generous if there are any charities that you support, if there are any organizations that you support. Give freely, receive freely, and just understand, at the end of the day, this time period will finish, and January 1st will be here. You will get to ride the slate all over again. You choose your paint, your color, your chalk, your brush, and create for yourself what is uniquely yours. Thank you for being here.